Guys, what's going on? We welcome to the one and only podcast actually produced from a real shed, Shed Talk, your newest podcast of 2020. I'm your host, Nate, my co-host, Tony. We're here to tell you some great stories, talk about a few things, give you a little insight on our life, and, chat it up with you guys. So, Tony, tell them a little bit about yourself, give them a little bit of why you want to do Shed Talk, and just introduce yourself.
Hey, Tony, how we doing? We're coming here from the shed in the backyard of my house. Honestly, you think of it as a shed. This thing is a freaking man cave. Let's just call it that. So, Nate, we do this on a regular. This doesn't even have to be on film, really. It's we do this just because we do. Like,
within this shed right now, we are currently sitting in two different colored recliners. We have a TV in here. We got a full fridge stacked up with waters, beer, drinks, you name it, we got it. We got seats for everybody. You want to come sit in? We got about 4 seats, so reserve your spot, and we got it for you. But yeah, we're here. Like Tony said, we always talk in the shed, just kind of a place just to come here, talk about life, talk about what goes on throughout the day, talk about what goes on in the world, and just the environment itself, just being in the shed. How many of y'all can say y'all got a luxurious shed?
You got a big rack like that up there? Absolutely not. No. We're sitting here with a wood stove going, like old school shit, just hanging out.
Your shed's probably a 2x2 shed. Probably got a snow blower in it that you ain't used this winter. Some shovels. Your shed probably sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Our shed though, high tech. That's why we come here and talk everything out.
So there's been this thing that's been on my mind for the longest time, Nate. And I don't know, Miss Pagliaro, when we sat there, talked with her, I had class. This is my 10th grade year.
Yeah.
Taking British studies.
Oof.
Honors class.
Well, it was not. But no, they I remember my history teacher coming out, and this is the first thing she taught me. And I'm not a historian. I don't care, but this kind of is cool. 2 things she mentioned is history is written by the winners, and the history tends to repeat itself. And for some reason, that clicked in my head for the longest time. That second little quote there, because look where we're at. We're in the new year. It's 2020. Very excited. There's a lot of good things going on for everybody in this room. Mm-hmm. Big things popping off for everybody that's in this room right now. A lot of things that are going on in the world. There's a lot of things going on just in life. The one thing I thought of is we're back in the Roaring 20s, and I can't be more excited about it. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Like, what do you like? We're in the Roaring 20s, bro. Like, what do you think?
Listen, me personally, I don't look at it that way. I just look at it. This is a new year, but also too, just because it's a new year, like we're not just doing this just because it's like one of those New Year's, new us, new objective things. Like
I haven't changed in a long fucking time.
This has been the work. Just set the record straight. This has been the works for at least 6 to 8 months, probably. Talking about things, figuring it out, getting it together.
We got drunk at Springgate and talked about this.
We did.
I think I drank 3 bottles of wine and just sat there. And
wine drunk is a different
What
kind
was
of drunk.
wrong with me?
You're drunk as shit. That's your problem.
So that topic, history tends to repeat itself. I was going on this. Man, I go on tangents all the time, man. And the one thing that kept coming in my head is that little thing of the Roaring 20s. Big Gatsby fan. I watched that movie, I don't know, countless times when I've been,
Good book, too.
Great book.
You read the book?
One of the few books I've fully read.
As much as I hated being assigned books in high school, college, whatever, we got assigned that book to read junior year, English class. Never forget that. And that was the best book I ever read. I mean, there's so much that goes with it. And it kind of comes back to life itself now. We're in our mid-20s. We just graduated college. Things are really starting to pop off and get real good here. Like, I can't be more happy with how life's been. And the one thing about the 20s back then is nobody really gave a shit. They're out there working their 9 to 5, and then they go and celebrate like we do. So there ain't nothing different. History does tend to repeat itself in that, wouldn't you think? Like, no, that is what we're living for, is that Roaring 20s lifestyle. Maybe I'll bring back the fedora. I don't know. I've been thinking about it.
No, fuck no.
Come on, man. I can pull it off.
No.
But here's another thing. Again, I'm not a historian. I'm far from that. But the 1920s, was a big time for drinking.
Mm-hmm.
We all like to party and have a good time. That was also the big time of Prohibition.
True, true.
Back in that time, obviously 100 years ago, there was a time where alcohol was illegal. Imagine that as your life. But,
My
yeah.
life would be a lot healthier.
My
body
I
would
mean,
feel
I
a lot
probably wouldn't
better.
be so damn fat, but, you know, they, it was just a weird time. And everybody was like, no, the booze got cheaper, everything was, I mean, as soon as it was legalized, they came to a different, you know, outcome. We're looking into a generation now, we're in the 2020s, and honestly, even if it's illegal, everybody's talking about it. I mean, 11 states have already legalized it. I don't even have to tell you what that would be. But having, you know, here we are, history tending to repeat itself. I mean, what do you think if pot became recreationally legalized in this decade?
For business purposes, it'd be the greatest thing ever. If you look at Chicago made over $1 million in their first day of having that legalized. 11 million over the first week. Made so much money off of it that they ended up running out of it. Could be great for the economy everywhere. Also be great and beneficial for people too. You got less people getting locked up for it, less people getting in trouble.
But what about the people who are already in trouble?
But see,
that's part of it.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Honestly, I can't talk much about that either. Obviously,
I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, like even with the legalization, that's one of those things where everybody gets just kind of have to work that out together, you know, because everybody can't keep living in the past. You know, it's like it is drawing that all those people who got locked up, but you know, there's a let's make it better for them. You know, we're going to legalize it. You know, then like let's do it better for them too. You know, like. Get it off their record. It's like they're in jail for selling for selling 2Gs or something like
Not
that.
Not even
like,
selling sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Just being around, just getting caught like with somebody
if you're
else.
black and caught with it, then
exactly. It's like, you know, like that's such a shitty situation for your future or for something that's like now legal. But I mean, at the same time too, if that becomes the case, we can't just block people out from being able to like have a career in it. If somebody was locked up for it and they know how to grow, they know how to farm, they know how to do something with it. Give them a fresh start. You know, like you said, it's 2020. You know, like I know I said we're not on the whole 2020 wave, but I know some of y'all are. So, give them a chance for a fresh start. You know, they come out, that person might be able to help your business. Boom, might be able to make things better for your bag, for your pockets. You know, you never know. So, but you gotta be able to give them a chance to be able to redeem themselves. You know, especially off of something so minor that's becoming so frequent. It's like, why live in the past with that and just not make things better and just make shit worse, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, on that, there's so much that tends to repeat itself. We're going through that time frame. We're going through life in itself, and there's a lot of personal experiences that you go through, and history really does tend to do that. I mean, we went through 4 years of high school together. Mm-hmm. Graduated. Mm-hmm. Then went through 4 years of college together. Mm-hmm. Then graduated. Here it is. It's this repeated cycle, but you know, we all go through some real tough times. We all go through some really good times. Mm-hmm. Hell, I'm living right now. I can't complain about life, but I can tell you that there's been times that it's definitely not easy. Mm-hmm. Oh, we've lost friends. We've had some tough moments and things like that. But you know, let's talk. I mean, we can talk about the personal stuff too. Like, if you have, what are your thoughts on this life cycle that we're living in?
I mean, yeah, man, it's like when you catch yourself in this cycle, you know, sometimes if it's some of the people that you always been around with, because, you know, obviously I got other friends as well. We've been friends for, you know, like you said, 10 years, 10 plus, 12, 13, you know, and it's like we keep going through the same things, you know. It's not, and if it's a good thing, if it's going well, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If it's our friendship going through, you know, fun times together, that's no problem at all. I mean, the only time it really becomes a problem is if you keep catching yourself in a cycle where it's repeating, but it's not a positive situation for you, or it's not doing anything good for you, then that's where it becomes a problem. And, I mean, you talked about like losing friends, losing people. I mean, that shit happens when you try to change up and make things better. And, you know, sometimes you gotta do that for yourself, because that, like, this is like history right here, like us, you know, this being repeated of being friends year in, year out, keep coming back together and hanging, like, that's good. That's That's a good thing. But, you know, if it's something bad that's going on, you know, you don't want to keep having that negative energy in your life, because that's just going to keep fucking you up and not going to help you in any type of way. And then, especially too, like, especially too, like, you got a homie they're trying to elevate their situation, but you just keep trying to repeat the bad shit, like, you know, you bringing them down and you not even helping yourself out. You just going to stay level right where you at, when you really not supposed to stay level. You're supposed to be leveling up,
Right.
you know.
Man, every chance you get, you should be leveling up. It could be something small, you know. You go back and even how I'll bring a personal one into this is, I go back in time, go back to freshman year of college, and you're going, man, first time being independent in your life. You know, you really are starting to learn.
And it's really a false sense of
Oh,
independency.
there's so much that you're doing. It's like, wait, you're checking off all these boxes,
like,
realizing, okay, I'm independent. I have to figure X, Y, and Z out. I have to go to school.
Might
We're
have
very
a job,
social,
depending.
Yeah, we're very social people, so we got involved in things. Obviously, captain of the football team over here.
Go Huskies.
Well known, go Huskies. I mean, can't ever forget that. But, you know, we're natural leaders, and that's kind of cool to, you know, we have been able to take that when you hop into a situation, freshman in college, and we're like, wow, this is eye-opening. I mean, college was completely different from what I was used to here. But you go through and you learn a lot about yourself, get involved with a lot of good things. Trust me, I mean, college was a blast. It was a really good time, but then, you know, you come back here and you start figuring out, like, okay, again, repeating itself. Now we're graduates of college. We got our undergrads. The one thing you learn, and kind of why, you know, we really brought this friendship back together too, is we relate in a lot of good ways, and obviously we spit off good energy back and forth. And I think our hard work has been just who we are as people, and I think that's what people need to realize itself too in general. Everybody is doing big things, whether they believe it or not. It's really awesome to see. You see some friends here posting there, a little accomplishment that they've done, buying homes, dropping an album, getting a promotion, doing, you know, paying off student debt, like, these are big things in life, and you don't think about that stuff when you're living it up, partying in college and having a good time there.
And to go for that too, like, if you see someone out here making, like, big accomplishments, don't be one of those people that's a fucking hater, yo. Don't be like, oh,
Negativity
they did
needs to
that.
be left in the past.
Yeah, or don't be like, oh man, that's not that good. You know, be supportive of people. You know, like, you know, I'm not saying you gotta support everybody, but I mean, like, if you got some homies or something, man, be supportive of them. Pick them up here and there. You know, let them know, like, yo, man, you doing well, man. That's a good accomplishment.
Go to their shows.
Yeah,
Go to
exactly.
Their shit.
Yeah, like, you got people that are like rapping, trying to do the music thing. Like, not everybody start out big. You know, they gotta start somewhere. You never know. You buying that ticket to that concert, you showing up, that might be able to have them make enough money to be able to go get a studio, go be able to produce another album. You never know. Or maybe that retweet, that like that you share on Twitter for somebody, you know, like us starting a podcast, or, you know, somebody looking for a job or something.
Right.
That might be able to lead them to something else. So, you know, always you don't got, like I said, you don't got to help everybody. I mean, it never hurt here and there to be able to extend a hand to a homie, a friend, something like that.
Absolutely.
Bring back that good karma for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's
and
good history repeating itself.
That's great history. And that's the thing too, is you got to really support those who are busting their ass to do it. You know, I know a lot of people that are, you know, they have these ideas. And think about us. Think about what we went through for a few months of just like sitting here, literally saying we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that with this podcast. Really enjoy this, and it took us a while. Like, there's people that they have an idea. They have a lot of good ideas, and I'm really positive that there's a lot more to come than just our idea and everybody else. That's the cool thing about our generation, is that we have a chance. Everybody is kind of going off this tangent of, you know, there's a lot of people, we're literally 24 and 23 years old. There's so much that we're going to be able to accomplish before we even hit 40.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, just because.
Even 30.
Yeah.
30, I hope.
Just because.
Maybe 25.
Yeah.
Hopefully I buy my first house.
Hey.
And that's the thing though, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even gotta buy, like you said, we're 23, 24. Like, you don't even gotta buy your first crib now, you know. Like,
I'm
if you said, and he said he still lives at his parents' house. I still live at my mom's house. There are people that still live with their parents. Got to live with a roommate or something. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Just go at your own pace. Figure it out. As long as you making progression, then you're fine.
You gotta figure out where your priorities
one thing I always used to tell people is, like, and people know this about me too, like, if I see something on social media, somebody doing, like a celebrity or something, like buying multiple houses, doing this, like, all right, that's cool, that's them. They had to get there at some point in their life. They worked for it. They did whatever they did to get there. And just because they doing that, or even something like you see somebody with a brand new job making 6 figures at like 25 or something, that's not you. It's perfectly fine. That's their life.
I wish.
You got shit. I wish too. But I mean, that's they life that they live. You don't know what path they took to get there. You got to be able to live your own.
And there's a lot
figure
of
it
hard
out for
work that's
yourself.
put in behind that. A lot of you probably know me as a party and animal from college, and I, believe me, had a good time. But regardless, thankfully, I was raised to, you gotta work hard for what you're about to have. You can have a work hard, play hard mentality and still be successful. Like, that's how the biggest people make it in this world, is you have a set. If you can somehow do time management, because I'm still terrible at it, you can manage a time of, hey, I'm going to bust my chops now. I'm going to make sure I'm working. I got this focus. Then you have all this time outside of that. And you can work on getting to where we want to be. That is what life is all about. Life is about opportunity. This world, God gave us an opportunity. I don't want to harp on America, but there's the American dream. You ever hear of that? That's a thing, Don't give me that look.
But another thing too is, like, people gotta realize, like, you see people going through, like you said, the hard work, people working hard, like I was saying too, you don't know everybody's backstory. Like, it's just because you see all the hard work and shit, you don't see, like, the heartbreaks and heartaches that they go through to get there. All right, I'll give you an example right now about myself, like, for football, like people, they always say good things about me as a football player. I always appreciate that, everything. And it's like they always say too, they see the hard work that I put in on the field, working out, practicing. But there are like them times where people don't. I don't always talk about the hardest. Like, I tell people, oh yeah, like I had like a bad back problem freshman year of college, right? Herniated disc in my back. It's like I tell people that, but it's like they don't really know. I don't really go into detail how it was like. How I felt like waking up every day. I go to lean over, go to try and put my socks on. I couldn't even do that shit because it hurt so bad. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, to be able to go through that, be missing my first college spring practices because of a back injury, being limited at practice, and then having to spend the whole summer going through hell with rehab, just be able to try and come back by August,
And the toll that takes on your mental
exactly, yeah, exactly, because it's like, them days, it's like, you wake up, it's like, oh man,
all you want to do is play football.
Yeah, it's like, damn, I want to play, I want to go work out. I go to my trainers, it's like, we're sitting there doing shit I can't even do because it's like, bro, this shit hurt. Don't nobody ever really see that part. So, but again, everybody see the hard work though. But that's one of the things. Can't really judge a book by its cover. That's why you gotta live your life and you gotta go get it how you get it.
That's exactly it.
I can't get it like how Tony get it, and Tony can't get it like how I get it. But
you can't compare lives. Like, there's too much comparison out there. I mean, we talk about easy comparisons, and obviously we're sports people. You can't compare the life of Michael Jordan to LeBron James. You can compare their talents, compare their stats, but you can't compare people. People have their own lifestyle. People have their own agenda, and life can be hard. Everybody's got a chapter that you don't know that back stuff. Like, I'll be like, think about we can talk about our own lives. Like, people don't know a lot about my home style. I live with a brother that has autism. Not a lot of people understand those kind of things, and that's perfectly fine. You see it from an outside view where it's not. Honestly, it's hard to comprehend. Yeah. Even to me. Hell, the kid's 20 years old, and I shouldn't even say a kid. He's got me beat by 6 inches, and he's my little brother. But it's different in that lifestyle, and I see other families that you see physical problems, mental problems. You see broken families. You see deceased family members, and you're still like. There's so much that people don't know, and how much people are hustling. The ones that are putting in that work have gone through some very, very traumatic things in their life.
For sure.
And it could be personal. It could be, like I mentioned, all those family issues that have been coming up. But guess what? Like, mental health is so important. And that's one thing. One of the reasons I do this podcast is to talk about that kind of stuff. Because I know I've suffered through it. I know you've suffered at times. I know everybody has suffered at times. If you can't tell me you've lived a hardship, you haven't lived. It's really, you just learn, and you learn from experience. And as these harder times come, it really builds you. It builds you as a person. And you're trying to make, we try to make a living for ourselves and a living to enjoy with our friends, to enjoy with our families, enjoy with our lives. It's not easy, man. But you know what? That's why we do it and live through it, We just don't want that bad history to repeat itself.
Facts. Good vibes only. Good
I'm
history
I'm
only.
living for good vibes. That's all I really can do.
That's why you did the podcast as well, You got to spread the good vibes.
I'm glad we're doing this. I'm excited. This is something that's going to be exciting for the both of us. Little journey to go on, and hopefully I can go buy a bigger shed. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to buy a mobile shed.
Shed on
One day.
wheels.
Shed on wheels.
Ooh.
We can go on tour.
Shed on tour.
Shed on tour.
Shed on tour.
That'd be
Fucks
fun.
with that.
Shed
Maybe.
on tour.
Maybe.
Shed tour.
Shed.
Only play on words that begin with T. Yeah, that's things. That's what we got. That's what we got for episode 1.
Yeah.
Little intro about us. You guys got a little taste of everything. We're gonna have some jokes. We're gonna have personal stories. We're gonna have world stories. Jokes is on you.
Oops.
Be a more serious episode. There will be more silly episodes, laughing, humor. Just gotta tune in to find out what kind of episode you gonna get though. You feel me? And then this is how we're gonna end every episode. It's called Shed Thought. Looking back on today's episode, just live your life. Be you.
That be you.
No. Not be you at be writing. Go to be you.
It's okay if they didn't.
Y'all did.
Yeah, we did.
That's what matters.
Yeah, well, shout out, go Huskies. Again, appreciate you guys for taking the time out of your day to be able to listen to us. Really do appreciate it. We also like you guys to give us some feedback on what you thought about episode 1. Kind of what you liked, what you didn't like, where you think we can go, what we could do that's better, what we should take out that's wasn't that good. That way we can make this the best podcast possible. That's what we want to do. We're not just trying to give y'all some bullshit. Just some ha he. Like we really, if we're gonna take the time to do this, and if you want to take the time to listen, we want to make sure that we give you something like a product that's actually quality that you can listen to. We appreciate you be able to tell a friend. If you have, again, any comments, suggestions to us, you can text Tony. If you got his number, you can text me, or you can hit us up at Shed Talk Podcast. We also want to give a special shout out to some people for our first episode making it possible. Our music guy on IG, he's at IsaiahMarquise.y. Thank you, Izzy. We got the person that created our logo, our girl Tori. You can hit her up at _TL Creates. That's her graphic design page. Also, biggest shout out to our girl Nikki, aka Peach, our producer. We really appreciate her. She's at Peachka on IG. That's Peach with 2 Ks and 1 A. You go follow her. She got the links to her Spotify. She makes music. She has her own podcast. Go check out Life of Peach. Go do that for us, please. Let her know how you think that is. Check it out. Let us know what you think about it, too.
Thank you guys for taking the time to really listen to our thoughts, listen to what we do here in the shed. This is what Shed Talk's all about.
He's at Tony.football, FUTBOL on IG.
That's the real football. So
yeah, soccer football. And then you can catch me on Twitter at @Monroe26. You can hit me up on Twitch at twitch.tv2Monroe26. That's all we got for you for episode 1. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
Have a good one, guys.
Until we Shed Talk again.